think it's a good idea that we know where we are when we start. And we are at the Camp Caro Community Park, and we are right here on the nature area map. Well, today we're going to go up into a different type of environment. We're going to go up to the ridge, and so we're on that trail to the deep ravine heading for the West Ridge. As I come in, I'm standing underneath a serviceberry bush that's got a ponderosa pine. As a matter of fact, there's some incredible ponderosa pine right over in this direction. And as I look at this group of rocks that represent the bedrock of the Dishman Hills, I also see these incredibly big ponderosa pines. Take a moment and look up into the canopy and see where light is shining on the pine needles. And then again, I like to look down, and oh, there's those rocks. I see pine needles. I see more serviceberry bushes. So it's a great way to start a hike up to the open ridge that we're headed for. Volunteers contribute a lot to natural areas. This trail and this large stoneworks was a project of the Washington Trails Association's Trail Builders a few years ago, and it really enhances our experience in the Dishman Hills. Well, we're coming up to an intersection on the Deep Ravine Loop Trail, and if we go left, we drop down into the Deep Ravine. We're going to go right today up to the ridge that borders the west edge of the Deep Ravine to take a look at the forest up there. So I'm heading this way. We've just made a big transition. We've been walking up what's called the north aspect of this trail. And aspect means which direction the landscape is facing. We've been walking uphill on the north face of the landscape. We've just crested out up there, and now we're going downhill on the south facing aspect. And one of the things I'm noticing immediately is that there's a lot more distance between the trees, and there's a lot thinner ground cover as far as the plants are concerned. It seems to be bunched in certain areas, and certain species seem to be bunched. So aspect refers to what direction the land faces. As I walk along this trail, it keeps reminding me, this is so spectacular, a trail to walk on. It's not really long, but wow, it covers so much life and different places where life congregates. It goes from a closed-in, shady feeling to this open ponderosa pine forest. I mean, you look around and you just see all of the ponderosa pine, the most drought tolerant of the pine species. It lives in the absolute worst, most minimal soil, and it just reaches to the sky. I've walked this both ways, and it is just spectacular whichever direction you go. But stop, look, listen. Take the time to check everything out. If you're even quiet for just a couple of minutes, it's amazing how nature starts to talk to you. How things start to move that were paused to see what was going on. It's just another one of those just absolute spectacular places that the Dishman Hills Natural Resource Conservation Area offers to those who want to take the time to look and listen and take some deep breaths.